So thank you so much for all the gratitude in the chat. Always remember you carry a value that no one else can duplicate, right? So tonight you're going to own that value. I'm going to start by telling you a story. It's a story that kind of blew my mind a little bit when I heard it, right? It's a story about a marketing company. Now, this marketing company bought some cheap shoes, and I'm talking like cheap bargain level type shoes, right? Bargain bin level. And they opened a luxury pop-up shop, right? They polished the shelves, they dimmed the light to make it look all exclusive, and they gave these cheap shoes designer sounding names, right? And these shoes, the retail value of these shoes when they bought them were like $10. Now, they then put those shoes on the shelves for 500. And guess what? People actually bought the shoes, not because the shoes had changed, but because the story around the shoes changed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. See, the power of perception, right? That's what we're going to be diving in today. The power of perception, the power of positioning. Because too many of you on this call are walking about out there like you're clearance items, right? But let me tell you this, you're not clearance, you are couture, okay? You are undercharging, you are underselling, and you are undervaluing your greatness, all because for some reason we get it into our heads that people are not going to pay us, right? But it is not about the price, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to be talking about today. It's not about the price. It is how you have packaged your brilliance. So tonight's session is your reminder. It is your wake-up call. It is your positioning plan. We are talking about how to know your worth, okay? And how to charge like you mean it. Because the truth is, you set the price tag. And it's time to stop putting yourself on sale. Now, for those of you that are new on the call, I love interaction. So I'm going to start calling numbers. And when I call the numbers, I want you guys to react with those numbers. And the more you interact with me, the more I interact with you, the more heated I get. And if you're lucky, you get to hear my Bajan accent come out when I get really passionate. So drop a one in the chat if you know you've been undercharging for way too long and you're done playing small. And I'm seeing those ones coming in. James, Nahama, Suzanne, Shane, Melanie, John, Stella, Nicola, Elsie, amazing. And drop a two in the chat if you're ready to start showing up, speaking up, and pricing like the premium brand that you know that you are, that I know that you are. And I see those twos coming in there. Elsie, Melanie, Stella, John, Shane, Nick, Nicola, amazing, amazing, amazing. You guys are on fire already. This is going to be a hot one. So before I go any further, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Michelle Jenmi, and I am here to motivate you. So confidence on, doubt off, let's go. I'm a business coach, an identity mentor, a serial entrepreneur, and an award-winning motivational speaker. I am also a wife and a mother. So I do it all, no excuses. I now help others just like me, just like you, discover their true self, their true identity. I will help you to shift your mindset, build your self esteem and confidence so that you can go on to achieve your goals and build thriving businesses. Now, you can choose to pay attention over the next 30 minutes or so. That is, of course, your choice. I recommend that you do pay attention. And if you can, minimize distractions and listen with an open mind. And if you are anything like me, you're going to want to grab a pen and some paper because you are going to want to take some notes. And with that being said, let's kick off with the first point. Perception, ladies and gentlemen. People pay for perception. You see, people don't pay for what something costs. They pay for what they believe it's worth. And that belief is shaped by how something is presented, not just what it is, okay? Because you could have the most life-changing product. You could have the most life-changing service, coaching program. But if it's wrapped in insecurity, inconsistency, or like pick me energy, it will get treated as if it's a bargain, okay? And on the flip side, let me tell you this, someone else could offer less value, than you, but they package it with clarity, with absolute confidence, and with a touch of luxury, and they will get paid more. So the takeaway here is it's not always about just the quality, okay? It's about how you present it, right? From branding to tone of voice to visuals, people judge a value before they experience it, okay? So your confidence, your consistency, the way you present it, this all shapes the way that your audience will see you. And if you look like you cost more, they will treat you as if you cost more. Okay, so always remember this. This is some key points here. Perception happens before you even pitch. Perception happens before you open your mouth. Okay, people assume value based on presentation. Luxury brands are built on positioning, not just quality. Think of Chanel, think of Louis Vuitton. Their raw materials are not that much better than H&M or Next. I mean, everyone must have seen what's been going on in China on TikTok and stuff, how they've been revealing how everything is made, right? They're using the same materials as what they put into H&M. So, but the difference is there's a perception of value for these high brands, and that is what people pay for, okay? And always remember that confidence equals credibility. So if you present yourself like you are worth £5,000, people will trust that you are worth that £5,000, right? So it all begins with the way you position yourself. So drop a one in the chat for me. Drop a one in the chat. If you know you need to work on how people perceive you, if you need to give a better first impression so that people know your value, they can see your value. And I'm seeing those ones come in. Vandana, Shimmery, John, Nahama, Shane, Marco, amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm loving it so far. Number two, you need to teach people how to treat you. I'm going to say that one again because that one hit home. You need to teach people how to treat you. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly setting the standard for how others see you, speak to you, and invest in you. If you are constantly, and this is something very British, we all do it, apologizing. If you are constantly apologizing for your prices, if you are giving people discounts out of guilt, if you are saying yes to people when you really mean to say no, right? If you are allowing your clients to push boundaries, then you are training people to see you as someone whose time and whose talents can be negotiated, okay? But when you respect your own boundaries, when you own your value and you communicate these things with certainty, people will rise to meet the standard that you have set, okay? So what you tolerate becomes your brand. If you let clients pay late, if you let them overstep, if you let them undervalue your work, they're going to keep doing it because you allowed it. It's that simple. You allowed it. You are really setting the temperature in the room, right? So when you walk in the room like you belong there. You understand? When you walk in confidently, when you walk in unapologetically, people will adjust. But when you shrink back, when you shrink back, okay, people will not respect you because they will treat you like you're unsure of who you are because that's what you're showing them, right? So your boundaries will signal value. Clear boundaries do not push the right people away. They communicate what's on offer. So when you have clear boundaries, the people that really respect you, they don't mind the boundaries. They will respect the boundaries. The people that don't respect the boundaries are the people you don't want around you anyway, okay? And energy leads. Always remember this. Energy leads, words follow, okay? So you can say to somebody lip service all day long that you're worth it. You can walk about saying that all day. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. But if your energy is apologetic or your energy is unsure, people will feel it and they will respond accordingly, right? So every time you say yes to a discount, every time you lower your rate to feel accepted, you are setting the standard. People will treat you how you treat yourself. So you need to raise the bar and the world will follow your lead. So drop a two in the chat. If you know you need to raise the bar, if you know you need to teach people how to treat you, if you need to stop tolerating nonsense so that they treat you with respect. And I'm seeing those twos flowing and coming in. Absolutely amazing. I see them, I see them, I see them. Let's go. Number three, confidence. He says 202. Confidence. Number three, confidence is part of the price. Your price isn't just about your skill, okay? It's about your belief in your transformation. When you say the price with shaky energy, people will sense your doubt. But when you say it with power, say it with your chest. Do you understand? Say it with your chest. People will trust you because confidence, ladies and gentlemen, confidence is currency. So you can have all the strategy, you can have all the skills, you can have all the services, but if you present your offer with shaky energy, people feel it and they will hesitate. Okay, your confidence is a silent signal to your audience. It says, you can trust me. I've done the work. This transformation is worth every penny. When you're confident, people don't just invest in your offer, they invest in your certainty. Okay, they invest in your certainty because confidence sells, but fear repels. The moment you second guess your value, they second guess you. Okay, and confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment, right? It's not about being boastful. It's about being grounded in the truth of your impact because you know your value. So when you are looking at higher prices, at charging higher prices, right? It requires a high posture. It requires high confidence because you cannot expect to charge premium rates and have bargain level body language. What do you buy that? Right? So raise your tone, raise your chin, raise your shoulders, hold your head high, and raise your energy. So drop a three in the chat for me. Drop a three in the chat. You know you need to raise your confidence level. You need to step out like you mean it. You need to walk into rooms like you belong there. And I'm seeing them three. Marco, John, Vanessa, Elsie, James, Melanie, Bandana, Louisa, Shane, Nahama, Andrew, wow, wow, wow. And they're still coming through. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Number four, packaging matters. Let me grab a drink. I'm getting heated in here, man. Mm. Packaging matters. Your brilliance can be next level. But again, if it's wrapped in confusion, it's wrapped in inconsistency, it's wrapped in a lack of genuine care, people will not take the next step. We live in a scroll culture, right? And packaging is often the first impression before value ever gets a chance to speak. So, how you package your offer, your presence, and your brand, it really tells your audience that this is the standard, right? This is the level, and this is what working with me feels like because people don't just buy results, they buy an experience. Okay, so remember this when it comes to your branding, when it comes to your packaging. Branding is emotional, not just visual. Okay, and that is a vibe that can either repel or attract. So you need to make sure that your branding attracts. Your packaging sets expectations. You have to think of it this way: are you giving 1,000 pound energy in your presentation, in your voice, in your visuals, in your system, or are you giving 50 pound vibes and wanting to charge 1,000 pounds? Think about that very carefully, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're giving off the wrong vibe, people will be confused, and confusion kills conversion. Write that one down. Confusion kills conversion. If people cannot instantly understand what you do, who it's for, or what the result is, they're just going to scroll on past you. So make sure that your message is clear because a clear, consistent brand, a clear, consistent message builds trust. When people see that you're put together, when they see that you're intentional, elevated, they will subconsciously say to themselves, this person, this right here is excellence on the front end. And if it looks like this on the front, imagine what it's going to be like on the inside of the offer. Okay, so you need to be clear and consistent. Your branding is not just how it looks, it's how people feel when they engage with you. Okay, so drop a four in the chat if you know you need to maybe step up your packaging, step up your branding, make your message more clear so that people know what they're getting into, so people can appreciate what they're getting into. And I'm seeing those fours coming in: Vandana, Marco, Suzanne, Shimmery, Nahama, John. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm loving, loving, loving this. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be clear, but be clear on who you are for. And this is a mistake that many of us make. You are not for everybody. I know that I'm not for everybody. Simple. But you are not for everybody. But that is your superpower. Because when you want to serve everyone, you are going to dilute your brilliance and confuse your message. But when you know exactly who you are here to serve and you speak directly to who you're here to serve, that is when you become magnetic. Okay? Not everyone will understand your pricing, your style, your vibe. But the thing is, they're not supposed to, so it's okay. Your energy is expensive, so protect it. Protect your energy and aim it at the people who are ready, who are aligned, and who are willing to invest. Does it mean you're going to get some no's? Yes. It means you're going to get some no's. But it's okay because you're getting no's from the people that you don't want to work with anyway, so that's fine. So always remember that clarity attracts, confusion repels. Okay? You are not being rejected. Change that mindset. If you get a no, you're not being rejected, you are being redirected. When someone says it's too expensive, when someone says, oh, I'm not ready, that's a sign that they're not your people. Not everybody's your people, and that is okay. That's fine. Okay? Trying to please everyone will water down your superpower, right? Ideal clients don't just see the price or the investment. Your ideal client will see your value. They will recognize your worth because they see themselves in your message, okay? Now, just think of it this way. You post content that says, I help everyone to improve their life. Crickets. Nobody connects because it's too vague. Now, if you have a crystal clear message like, I help women over 40 who have lost themselves in motherhood, rediscover their identity, rebuild confidence, and start profitable businesses. Boom. The people that you are talking to will hear you straight away, and those women will feel seen. And that's what happens when you speak to one person and not the crowd. So drop a 5 in the chat for me if you know you need to clear up your messaging. I know that's you, Elsie. I know that's why I use that example. So drop a 5 in the chat if you know you need to clear up your messaging and speak to the right people. The right people need to hear your message. I'm seeing the fives. Amalfi, Tracy, Louisa, Derek, Suzanne, Shimmery, James, Marco, Nahama. I can't even keep up. Wow, wow, wow. And the fives are still coming in. I'm loving this. I'm loving the interaction tonight. Man, you guys are hot. You guys are on it. Now, your price reflects your impact, not your past. Now, let's be real. Most people are undercharging not because they lack skill. Okay? Most people are undercharging because they're still carrying, shall we say, shame. They're still carrying self doubt or maybe old stories of who they used to be or what they used to do. But your prices should never be based on your past pain. They should reflect the transformation that you create in others. Okay, you are not charging for how long you've been doing something, you are charging for the result you deliver and the power that you are walking in today. When you are looking at your position, I want you to stop pricing from your insecurities. That's the first thing, right? If you are still trying to prove your worth, you will always feel like you're charging too much, even when you're charging too little. Okay, so stop pricing from your insecurities. You are not the same person that you were 5 years ago, right? So why are you still behaving or pricing as if you're that person that you were 5 years ago? Listen, you've grown, right? You've healed, you've evolved, and that means your rates should too. Okay, do not let a guilty conscience or guilt discount your greatness. Just because you once struggled doesn't mean that your client should get your magic at a markdown because you were struggling 5 years ago. You're not that person anymore. You've invested in you. So behave as if you've invested in you because price from you need to price from transformation, not from time, right? So what I mean by that is you're not selling hours. You're selling clarity. You're selling confidence. You're selling healing. You're selling breakthrough, alignment, results. So drop a what number are we on? I think we're on a 6. Drop a 6 in the chat. Drop a 6 in the chat. If you know you need to reflect on your pricing. You need to stop pricing from your insecurities. You need to look at who you are now. And I'm seeing them six come through there fast. Stella, Shimmery, Shane, Louisa, Vandana, Amalfi. I see them. Chinui, Kelly, amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm seeing those sixes coming through. Tracy says, oh, yes, six. I love it. I love it. I love it. The last point I'm going to talk on is your story. Now, we're big on telling stories. We're big on telling stories, you know. So don't just sell a service, sell a story. And each time I have a call with any one of you, I'm always saying, listen, that story, get your story down pat, understand your story, get those pain points in your story, know your story well. And it seems strange when I say know your story, because not everybody does, but work on your story. That is the foundation to everything, because people don't buy coaching sessions, they don't buy strategies, they don't buy skincare, they don't buy ebooks, they don't, whatever it is, they buy identity. They buy transformation. They buy a new version of themselves. And your story is the bridge that takes them there. Okay? So when you share your why, when you share your journey, when you share your results through real and authentic and heartfelt storytelling, you don't just sell, you move people. You move people because your story connects people to you. Your story builds trust. Your story sells without selling, okay? So facts tell, stories sell. We all know that. Anyone that's in the academy knows that. So people want to see themselves in your story. They want to feel, if he did it, if Molly did it, if John did it, if Elsie did it, if they did it, maybe I can do it too. Okay? And your vulnerability is valuable. You see, those parts of you that you attempt to hide, that you don't want anybody to know, your struggle, your doubt, your comeback, those are often the exact things that your audience needs to hear in order to say yes. So you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable and share that vulnerability, because a story creates an emotional yes. Before logic kicks in, emotion will open the door. People say yes when they feel you. They feel like they're part of your journey, like a part of their story. So when you tell your story with power, you position yourself as proof. You don't have to sell. You don't have to oversell. You don't have to push. You just need to show what's possible through your life. Okay. So this is it. So instead of saying, I offer 6 coaching sessions with worksheets and accountability, I mean, it's facts, right? That if that's what you do, that's what you do. But it's boring. Nobody hears that. Nobody hears that at all. But if you say, 5 years ago, I had no confidence, I had no clarity, and I had no idea who I was. And I built myself from the ground up. And now I help women do the same. My program walks you through the same steps that helped me rebuild my identity, my own voice, and create an income doing what I love doing. You see the difference there? One is facts and one is a story. One is emotional. Okay? So drop a 7 in the chat. Drop a 7 in the chat. You know you need to work on your story. You need to have different versions of your story. You need to put some emotion into your story. And I see them 7s coming through fast and furious. And for those of you who are in the chats with me, for those of you who are in my school group, share your story with me. You want me to critique it? You want me to talk about it? Send me a message. Let's work on that story together. And I see them 7s, Elsie and Malfi there. In fact, I think I saw everybody in the chat, everybody that's on drop a 7. I can't even call all the names out. Amazing. You see, your story isn't just your past. Okay? Your story isn't just your past. Your story is somebody else's permission to rise. Okay? And that is key. Elsie, I'll send that to you, love. I'll send that to you, my lovely. So I'm gonna drop a link later on in the chat for you. So it is someone else's permission to rise. So know your story. Tell your story. Yep, Tracy, that's fine. Right. So I always end each session with a quote, okay? And this quote is short and sweet and straight to the point. You are not too expensive. They're just not your assignment, okay? Your worth is not negotiable. If someone says you're too much, that's your cue not to shrink. Okay, that is your confirmation that you were not meant to serve them. You are not here to convince nobody. You're not here to beg anybody to invest. You're not here to bargain with people. You are here to align with the people who see you. You are here to align with the people that feel you and who are ready to invest in your magic. So, what I need for you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is flip your mindset from I need to be more affordable to I need to be more aligned. And that, my lovelies, that is the real power move. When you can flip that switch, you don't need to be more affordable. You know your worth. Know your value, know your worth, and add tax. And each one of you on here knows what you're worth, and you need to add the tax on top, okay? That is the real power move. And with that being said, before we sign off, I would like to invite you to join my exclusive invitation only school group. Okay, it's called Wealth Pioneers, and that is where I will have all the repeats of my sessions and all those from last year. And there's all kinds of things coming up in that school group. So make sure that you are a member of that school group so that you're the first to know anything that is happening in my community. No, Tracy, I'm not flying in. I'm not there tomorrow. I'm so sorry. You're welcome. And the team has just dropped the link. So if you're not a part of my school group, make sure you click that link and become a member. And I always leave you guys with a weekly affirmation. You know the rules, screenshot it, read it to yourself every single day, share it on your socials and tag me in there as well. So this week's affirmation: I no longer shrink to fit spaces that cannot afford my light. Okay. I stand tall. I charge fully and I attract what aligns with my worth. Okay. I no longer shrink to fit spaces that cannot afford my light. I stand tall, I charge fully, and I attract what aligns with my worth. Ladies and gentlemen, that is this week's boom. That is this week's affirmation. Make sure you've taken a screenshot of that so that you can read it to yourself. And as I said, share it on your socials because you don't know who on your socials might need to read this, might need to see this. So make sure you share it on your socials as well. And with that being said, all that's left to say is thank you. Now, I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight about going from undervalued to being in demand. Now, let me know what your biggest takeaways are in my school group. I would really appreciate that. And of course, make sure that you're following me on Instagram. The link will be in the chat shortly. And in case you missed the link to school, that will be there again shortly. And if you are on the recording on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And if you would like to attend live, make sure you look down below in the comments for the school link so that you can join us live as well. We are here every Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time, and invite anyone onto this call who needs a push to start the week off right. So with that being said, let me stop sharing. Let me stop sharing and stop the recording. Wow, all these faces are here that were not here. All these faces are here that were not here before. Let me just stop the recording.